Hey, what's up everyone? Mace here with a 1v1 matchup for today on Lost Temple between the players WhiteRa and RoxKisBratOk. Bratella, apparently, as he is known to WhiteRa. And yeah, WhiteRa is playing under the alias DuckloadRa. I'm not really sure what all that's about, or why professionals seem to have like 10 different aliases. Sometimes it's for a clan, sometimes it's for, I don't know, they just want a different name. I thought WhiteRa was a cool enough name, but maybe someone knows. I really have no idea why he is the DuckloadRa now. But that is his name, and that is how he is playing this game at the moment. And who am I to question the mighty Protoss player, WhiteRa, or DuckloadRa, as he is known for right now. So we see that WhiteRa, I'm just going to call him WhiteRa because that's how he is pretty much known. And yeah, okay, so the probe is scouting right now, and he's probably going to go to this 12 o'clock position right here, and he's just going to miss this guy. He's probably going to get him on his next cycle over. And I'd just like to mention that they are cross distance from each other. I'm not sure if this is the longest rush distance. I think it is the longest rush distance that you can have on Lost Temple, so probably not going to see any kind of cool early rushes. I mean, we might. Sometimes people like to think they can get something out of there if their build seems appropriate to go and harass them a little bit, and maybe that is the case because RoxKisBratOk is actually not building up on his choke, which I've seen lots of Terran players doing recently. They don't build up on their choke. You know, sometimes I saw the transition from Supply Depot to Barracks Factory. Now it's just kind of like, well, I don't even really want to worry about that. And usually what I see Terran players do, which is they'll just kind of spawn in a bunker or have a Marine there so that probes can't come in and rescout, which is usually a pretty annoying thing as a Protoss player myself. It is difficult if someone puts a bunker right here. So if you are trying, if you find yourself that you're liking this build-in position and are annoyed by scouts coming into your base or just anything, just have a bunker right there. It works really well. And then you can unload it, pop out, and start expanding. So yeah, we see that the orbital command coming up at 15 SEVs, pretty standard play right there. And again, the supply depot's in the back, kind of guarding the supply line in case like a zealots with some kind of, I don't know, track or stim pack endurance decides to go back here and start sniping out some SCVs, but yeah, probably not going to happen. Anyway, here is WhiteRa right now, also doing kind of this open build here. He is building these to his gateway and his core behind his minerals. I don't know why he wants to do that. I feel like that leaves him kind of vulnerable in the front if there is some kind of assault that can pick off some probes. But again, who am I to question WhiteRa? Maybe he will have some kind of build set up for later. And so here he comes out right now with the Zealots, and it looks like he is not going to make his way across the map. He's going to post up here and try to snipe out any kind of SCVs that are coming across the map. A pylon here as well. One thing I would like to mention about WhiteRa's play is that he likes to make pylons outside of his base, which is actually a really smart thing because you get full vision all around your base, and it's, yeah, that's pretty much why it's nice. And you, oh, another reason is that you can hide buildings over here or down here or wherever you think is the sneakiest position. You can hide buildings on there, so like let's say you want to go High Templar and you don't want the other person to know, it's kind of nice to avoid scans that way. So that's kind of a trick that I've been doing recently that I had taken from WhiteRa. Here comes the Stalker. Stalker's great early scout because they got that fast movement speed, and yeah, here is the bunker. That's exactly what I'm talking about. So it's going to be almost impossible for WhiteRa to come into this game with some kind of probe or even just a single Stalker and find what RoxKisBratOk is doing until he gets an observer. So really good play by Rox's right here. So let's see how WhiteRa decides to handle. He's probably just going to move in and move back across the ramp because there's not much he can do. Yeah, so that's pretty much what it is. And of course, Protoss have these sweet shields, and the Marines are coming, and no, that Stalker is like, nope, you are not going to get me today. And oh my lord, we see Banshees and Banshees with Cloak. This is absolutely insane. How is WhiteRa going to be able to deal with this? WhiteRa typically against Terran, I see him go 4-gate lots of the time, so let's see if he decides to play conservatively, and maybe, yeah, that's exactly what he's doing. So he is worried about Banshees right now getting that robotics facility, thinking ahead. Good job, WhiteRa. Of course, I would expect you to be doing the right move right now. So WhiteRa even going for a fast expansion because he is going under the assumption that RoxKiss, I keep messing that name up, RoxKiss is going for some kind of heavy tech, which he is correct with that. Here comes the Banshee, and the Cloak will be coming out soon as well. Another barracks and a factory up. RoxKisBratOk is starting to wall off this area here, so yeah, let's see how this play decides to pull out, and here comes the Observer. So I think that WhiteRa is probably going to be okay. He does have these Stalkers here waiting for that Banshee to come flying in, but little does WhiteRa know that this Banshee is actually flying in right now above this high yield and is going to see his expansion and maybe even kill a couple of probes there. In the meantime, WhiteRa's probe is probably taking up the Zelnaga Watchtower to see if any other push is coming in. Yes, that's what we see. Here is the Banshee, and I don't think I missed anything here. No, I don't see anything damaged. But yeah, Braxis did see RoxKiss. That name is so hard. God, for commentator, this is not the best name, but I will have to live with it for today. Okay, so here comes the Cloak, and those Stalkers are not really that afraid because here's the Observer, but I think, no, he is not really going to get that many probes. He got one probe right there, but this Banshee might go down. No, it is going to be able to, no, it's not. It's going to go down to this Stalker Fire if he gets just a couple of more shots. One more. Oh, man. That Banshee just barely got away from that. Those Stalkers could have killed him. It was so close, and he's just barely able to scurry away back home. And so now RoxKiss has this kind of nice choke up here, and he is starting to bring down his command center once that is finished. So he is pretty much going a Marine Marauder build right now. So his early tech did not pay off, and it especially did not pay off because WhiteRa now has this expansion, and he's going to be able to macro up like a boss. Even has 4 gates, a Twilight Console, and a robotics facility. So he is really going to be able to do a lot. The income is a little bit higher for WhiteRa, and that's only going to be going increasingly higher as the game goes on with that expansion. So yeah, pretty much just Marines, Medevacs, and a Marauder, a Lonely Marauder here amongst all these little Marines for RoxKiss. So probably what WhiteRa is going to do is make that Templar archives to deal with that Marine Marauder. Definitely a good choice against that kind of massive force, but he has not spawned that in yet. He does have kind of a heavy tech and is just starting to saturate his army, making sure that in case a push does come, he'll have enough to deal with that. And here comes a Raven. That's kind of an interesting choice. Raven's actually very good with their point defense drone against Stalkers. If he does decide to attack, or if Stalkers come in, attack his base, that point defense drone will eat up tons of those Stalker lasers. So very good move against heavy Stalkers, which is what WhiteRa does have right now. So another barracks coming in, so RoxKiss is definitely building up his army as we speak, and it looks like it is pretty much going to be ground versus ground infantry at the moment, with kind of just a special Raven here to try to counter those Stalkers. So that will be interesting, especially if RoxKiss decides to go tanks, because sometimes blank Stalkers can be a really nice way to maneuver around siege tanks, but with that point defense drone, it will be a little difficult for him to do that. And oh no, the Observer gets sniped out. That is so annoying because Observers are really expensive and kind of slow, so to make it all the way across there and then just get killed by a couple of Marines is kind of sad in my eyes. Okay, and here comes WhiteRa now taking out this high yield, always thinking ahead, trying to start securing this position. Since he is taking this expansion so early, he's probably going to be able to take that high yield pretty early as well. And here comes the Terran player starting to move out across the map. I think he might be going for a push. There's really no reason for him to just kind of... Oh yeah, he is taking out the high yield as well, so both players right now thinking ahead and trying to get that extra resource. Since they are across from each other, these high yields are very safe for them to get, so both players are kind of thinking the same thing right now. The Terran player is right here, and it was kind of a contested high yield. That'd be a different story, but I think both players are going to be safely able to gather that high yield expansion right now. And let's see what's in production. Yeah, we do see the Ghost and the Psystorm. So what's going to be kind of cool to see in PvT battles, what I actually love to see, is that PvT becomes pretty much a Ghost versus High Templar battle. Whoever has the faster trigger finger, whoever is able to either feedback or Storm or EMP first, is definitely going to have the upper hand. So we'll see how that goes. WhiteRa usually likes to try to negate that with a War Prism, so we might even be seeing that soon. I don't see one in production right now, but another Observer for WhiteRa because he is trying to gain as much information as he can. And WhiteRa setting up this base right here with a photon cannon even, so trying to, I guess kind of anticipating maybe another Banshee strike somewhere in the game, so just playing a little safe, placing a photon cannon right there, not really impeding any of the harvesting right there. But this is really a very meaty army for High Templars to just sink their storm into, because Marines are really weak. One storm will kill all Marines in their radius if they don't move, but of course the Terran player is going to be stimming and moving around and healing as well. But also important to note that these medevacs are full energy, so if WhiteRa does have enough High Templar, he could even feedback them, and then he will be out of healing, so Stimpak will be kind of a one-and-done thing if the battle decides to rage on for a long time. And so yeah, WhiteRa now warping in like 1,000,000 gateways right now, and by 1,000,000 I mean 3, so he has 7 gateways and a robotics facility even. This is going to be interesting. You don't usually see players go both High Templar and Colossus because they're just so gas-heavy, so I guess that's probably what we're going to see from WhiteRa today. A kind of an interesting build-up, and definitely going to tear through all these Marines. So RoxKis still going for this Marine Ghost and a couple Marauder thrown in their army, and yeah, definitely getting lots of Ghosts and another Raven as well. We don't really see any mech. Looks like he is not even preparing for that at any time, but both players are saturating their expansion right now. And yeah, wow, look at this APM difference between the two players. This Terran is just clicking away everywhere, any chance that he gets to sustain this huge APM advantage. So I don't think I said AP before, APM. So yeah, this is a huge Zealot and High Templar army and a Mortal army, so not very Stalker heavy. I think it really wouldn't hurt WhiteRa to get a few more Stalkers, but again, he does. Oh, there! I think I missed something right here. It looks like I'm not sure how that those High Templar are even able to get in there. Probably it was Warp Prismed. Sorry, I missed that. That was kind of cool. So I think he just took out a bunch of these SEVs with his Archons there. But yeah, that was kind of a bizarre play. I didn't see a Warp Prism, but I guess my eyes just weren't there at the time. Okay, so, and this high yield is going to be mined out soon. Those mules are working away at this base. Mules just skyrocket Terran economy, despite the fact that WhiteRa has had the advantage and saturation time on these expansions. We see that the mules are like just dominating this. Look at this, 81 harvesters versus 60, and the Terran player still has more, so mules are ridiculous. And so here is a medevac trying to harass this position. WhiteRa getting super macro crazy right now, and there goes the feedback on that dropship. Ridiculous snipe right there. I love feedback, and for that reason right there, he just lost all of his units inside. So here's some photon cannons on the sledge, trying to avoid any other rogue medevacs coming in. And so here are some missile turrets again, trying to avoid any warp prisms. And so here is the nosy little observer trying to see if the Terran player is going to equalize and take the other side of the map. But WhiteRa right now macroing up ridiculous amounts, and he really is just trying to mine out the map at this point, because he is almost at max food. And I guess all you really could do is just start chrono boosting out tech and weapons and armor, which is what he is doing. So WhiteRa with a ridiculously huge army. He's got the High Templar and Colossus composition. 6 High Templar right now. I don't know where the other ones are. Maybe they're going in for harass somewhere. But here is the Terran player. Oh, and that observer is going to be able to live with just 4 health. Look at that speedy little stealth observer. And here comes the battle is starting to approach. Here the Ghost cloaked, and oh my god, EMP is going up. The Colossus are going on those Marines right now, and there is no storm for WhiteRa to take on this massive force. Oh no, WhiteRa just got torn into by those Ghosts. Great play right there.